Any thinking person is likely to be puzzled by the state of the world. We have amazing technology with high levels of automation which produces goods at an amazing rate. We should all be enjoying a wonderful life with all the goods and food we could possibly need, and with time for relaxation and play. Yet turn on the news and what do you see? Conflicts all over the world, people suffering, food and housing shortages, climate change, neo-monopolistic power, gross inequality, forced migration and refugees struggling to survive. The list goes on and on. But the biggest damage comes from disinformation, the manipulative lies used to lead people like dumb donkeys onto a path of total destruction. The development of medical technology has been equally impressive, so we should all be living long and healthy lives. But go to any shopping centre and what do you see? The majority of people are overweight, many are suffering from a diabetic amputation. After years of increasing lifespan, it is now stalled, or is even decreasing. But our health span, how long we remain fit and healthy, is steadily decreasing, with an army of sick old people. What has gone wrong? My name is Colin Austin. I am an engineer. Some 50 years ago, well before Bill Gates became a household name, I was a pioneer of computer-aided engineering. The company I formed became the leading exporter of technical software, and I was recognised by the Institute of Engineers as one of Australia's leading innovators. Don't get me wrong, I believe in technology, and it can lead us to a long, healthy and wonderful life. But it must work for the benefit of our communities. There's an old saying that fire and water are good servants but bad masters. We must add technology. It is a wild beast. If we tame the beast, life will be wondrous. If the wild beast is left in control, it will lead to the destruction of life on earth as we know it, and untold misery for us humans. I'm now an old man, 85 to be exact, but still fit and healthy. But I have a mission in life, to alert all thinking people to the dangers of the wild beast and to bring it under control for the benefit of our communities. But how? Let me try to answer that question by telling the story of life. The Earth is over 4 billion years old. For the first 3 billion years, it was just a dead rock, whizzing around the sun with nothing living. Nothing. No plants, no animals, not even a sheriff of mould. Nothing living. Then microbes appeared, we think from an asteroid, and our Earth suddenly burst into life. Well, maybe not so suddenly, it took the best part of another billion years. At first the microbes attacked the rock forming soil. The plants came, and then an amazing array of animals that ate the plants. But what about the microbes that started this? At first there were just a few microbes, but microbes breed very rapidly, starting within 20 minutes of being created. But they also die equally quickly, maybe a half-life of about a day. You may look at the species today and a few weeks later and see the same species, but they are not the same microbes. We call this dynamic equilibrium. It's like a person walking up a down-going escalator. They appear to be stationary, but are spending a lot of energy just to stay in one spot. But every new generation of microbes will be slightly different to their parents. With a billion years to play with, that leads to more than an incredible number of microbes. They are now just everywhere, but also an incredible number of species of microbes. Some are highly specialised, like the ones that live in our gut, not just of us, but all living creatures. But the most remarkable thing about these gut microbes, the gut bugs, is that they can communicate with each other to create intelligence, which we call swarm or crowd intelligence. And over millions of years, they have evolved to be the control centre of our bodies. They learn which foods work for us, store that information in our head brain, which is part of this intelligent control system. And when we are short of a particular nutrients, it sends out a spectrum of hormones to crave that particular food. And when we are full, it sends out other hormones to tell our bodies we are full, so stop eating. Or at least, this is the way it has worked for the last million years or so. But then things went wrong. So let me pick up the story from where the dead earth was whizzing around the sun, past all those weird creatures that inhabited the earth before us humanoids came along, to the real humans about 200,000 years ago. We are not a creature well endowed with claws and teeth, so survival for us has been a challenge. Our survival depends on two factors. We are intelligent and make tools, and we are also cooperative. An isolated human is defenceless against these ferocious wild beasts. But united we survive. That was, and still is, a predominant feature of us humans. We survive by being part of a tribe, and that is deeply ingrained into us. But there is one particular tool which changed us as a species: fire. This is much more than a natural defence mechanism, important as that is. It changed our very nature. Cooking with fire meant our food was much more digestible. We did not need the massive stomachs of other animals, so our gut shrunk. For an animal of our size, we have a very small stomach. But the other result was even more dramatic. We had energy to spare, and that energy went into powering our relatively massive brain. Our capacity to develop tools, and it must be said weapons, for both attack or defence, puts us in a league of our own. But to power this massive brain takes a lot of food, which has become a dominant factor in our life. Many large animals can go for several days without eating, but we need to eat several times a day. But some 10,000 years ago, we thought we had solved that by inventing agriculture. But like many innovations, it seems great at first, and the bad side only comes to light much later. The good side was obvious: an abundant supply of food, which led us to creating cities with large numbers of people living closely together. Then the bad side was revealed: disease. Our early civilizations were decimated by disease, particularly the young, with very few people living to our natural lifespan. At first we were powerless to defend ourselves and just had to put up with the plagues which could wipe out much of the population. But we are a creature that learns rapidly, and way before we had the science to understand the mechanism, we learnt about hygiene. We knew we had to kill the bad bugs before they made us sick. The earliest civilization took prevention of disease seriously. Those that did not disappeared in a flash of the pan. And as our technology got better, we too got better at fighting the bad bugs, the germs. The early development of sewage systems, clean water and better bedding was hugely successful. So successful that the population exploded from being measured in the millions to being measured in the billions. But that revised a problem we thought we had resolved with the invention of agriculture, our food supply. But, ever inventive, we attacked this with glee, developing our modern system of high-intensity chemical industrial agriculture and highly processed foods, full of energy, but lacking the capability to sustain the microbes that live in our gut and control our bodies. So, ever inventive, we had to find a way of growing a staggering amount of food, which we can do very well for now. But we had to do this by creating a food system that also enhances our gut microbe. We are very good at killing microbes, which means all microbes. But how do we control the harmful microbes which kill us and still breed the beneficial microbes which form our intelligent control system, which keeps us healthy? The answer to that has been staring us in the face for years, and can be summed up by the question, why are there no polar bears in Africa and no antelopes in the Arctic? The answer is so simple as to be unbelievable, at least at first. Simply control the conditions to favour the beneficial microbes and disfavour the harmful microbes, a process well known in nature as ecological balance. The beneficial microbes breed in the rhizosphere, the root zone of the plant. Plants make sugars by photosynthesis, which they, like us, need the microbes to release the nutrients in the soil. So they have evolved a system where they exude specific sugars from their roots that feed the beneficial microbes. The message is simple. No microbes, no life. Microbes enable life. Microbes need that magic combination of nutrients, water and air, which is a straightforward engineering problem which anyone can learn. This is the basis of the G-Biota system. Simply breed beneficial microbes in the soil, grow plants which will automatically contain the beneficial microbes, then eat the plants while fresh. So simple, easy and inexpensive. So what could possibly go wrong? There seems to be a rule that every innovation has some downside. So what is the catch? It goes back to the nature of microbes and dynamic equilibrium. Microbes have a short life, so the plants must be eaten while generally fresh, which it means before the microbes die, not before the plants have gone rotten. The solution is for people to breed their own microbes in soil at home. Easy enough done, but how do you persuade people who are living in a flat and have no growing experience, or for that matter interest or time in growing food? The answer to that is to go back to the very nature of humans. We are naturally a cooperative creature that likes to work as a group. What we need is for a few people, the entrepreneurial types, the free thinkers, prepared to be the first kid off the block and get them to show others that this really works. And how do you know it works? You stop having food cravings, so you lose weight, which you can measure with a pair of scales or a tape measure. If you really want to get scientific, you can start wearing a continuous blood sugar monitor and record how much food you eat and its effect on your blood sugar. When you eat, your blood sugar level will rise, but what you look for is how quickly it drops back to normal. How to get started? Buy some rhizosoil and read the instructions. Solving the food problem will not cure all the problems of the world, like the violence and inequality. But unless we solve the healthy food problem, we will never solve these problems. There's a good word, hangry, the anger that comes from being hungry. If we don't solve the healthy food problem, we'll have a world full of hangry people. Not good. So let's start the movement to breed beneficial microbes at home, and for us all to have an intelligent control system which regulates our bodies for the best. Let me ask you two simple questions. Despite the lust for power and wealth by a few, do you believe that the majority of the population are decent? And are you prepared to be a pioneer in leading these people to a better future? If yes and yes, please contact me from my somewhat nerdy website gbiota.com.